Today we're making an Asian marinated skirt steak with baby Yukon Gold roasted potatoes and a cilantro mint vinaigrette. I'm going to show you how to get started. This is one of my favorite recipes to make because the combination of flavors are dynamic. So let's get started on making the vinaigrette first. So in a blender, we're going to take some cilantro. And you don't have to worry about the stems and whatnot because it's all going to get blended inside. Take the mint. A little bit of sesame oil in there. That's gonna bring a little bit of the Asian flavor in there. Egg yolk. It's gonna help bind the vinaigrette. Some pickled ginger and the actual vinegar that's inside the pickled ginger. It has great flavor and it really picks up on the cilantro and the mint combination of flavors. It's awesome. Dijon mustard. Some vinegar and some roasted cashews. And then just a little bit of sugar. And we're gonna be adding the vegetable oil once everything starts emulsifying. We don't want to add the oil right away inside the vinaigrette because you don't know, first of all, number one, how much oil you're going to need and it might break. So you have to slowly drizzle in the oil once it's in the blender so that way it doesn't break and it holds its consistency as well. Same thing if you're whisking at the same time. Add just a little bit of salt. We're gonna add a little bit more vegetable oil in there so that way it binds stronger and that way it'll hold its shape and not be so liquidy. All right, let's take a look at how our vinaigrette looks. It looks great, guys, look at that. Now let's get started in making the actual marinade. This is one of the most amazing and delicious marinades you can possibly make that will have a lot of Asian flavors in here. But at the same time, it's like an American marinade as well. So it's a really great fusion marinade. So we got some soy sauce in there. We got some lime juice. We got some honey. That's gonna add sweetness into this element. We got some sesame oil. Now, this is one of my favorite ingredients is sriracha. This is gonna bring some heat into this. And then we're gonna add a little bit of ketchup. This is the acidity that's gonna balance the lime juice. Some mirin, which is sweet sake. And of course, regular sake. All right, so now I'm gonna mix this all up together before I start adding our aromats. We're gonna take some shallots. You just want to quickly just rough chop it. Nothing too chaotic. Again, it's a rough chop, doesn't have to be perfect. So we have some garlic in here, some ginger and green onions. These are the basic and most fundamentals aromats for Chinese or any kind of Asian cooking. You know those little baggies that you get like in a grocery store, you're putting all your vegetable stuff? I like to use these because they're, number one, disposable and they're very easy to use and they're very practical. I'm gonna show you why. So first I'm gonna start with some garlic. So the reason why we're smashing it is because we're getting the oils out of the garlic. You see my fingers, how oily they are? That's from the garlic. So you don't have to worry about peeling the ginger because it's not gonna do anything. And again, we're tossing it, it's just for flavor. So you don't have to worry about it. So we're just gonna cut about ½ an inch diameters of ginger. And it's just very simple technique and it's disposable right then. And then the same thing with the green onions. Now the reason I'm smashing green onions is because I want the natural oils out of the scallions to come out and really get into that vinaigrette. So you'll feel all of the aromats. See how that looks? Just pounded. It's a great little way of getting some frustration out or letting your kids play with it. Mommy, Daddy, you want to help? Sure, come on in. So with this, I'm also just gonna rough chop it. Nothing crazy. I'm sorry, toss it right into the marinade. So now we're just gonna give this a quick stir. So here I have a beautiful, already portioned cut of skirt steak. Okay, and I'm just gonna place that right into the marinade. And you can add a lot more skirt steak in here because it will definitely cover everything. Now you make sure that every time you make some steak or you want to keep adding more steak, just you have enough marinade to cover all the steak, so you want all that flavor to get inside all that meat. In this marinade is the Chef Brik Worcestershire sauce, honey and Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna put a tablespoon in here, and this is gonna bring out those American flavors we were talking about earlier. The Worcestershire, the honey, and we're just gonna mix that right in with our steak. Make sure it's all incorporated in there. So now we're gonna place in the fridge at minimum of 4 hours to preferably overnight, so that way all the marinade really soaks into that meat. Such great technique and so many components in this marinade, it's gonna be absolutely amazing. It got a little darker, changed a little color, and all the flavor is in there, you can tell. So let's get cooking. Let's get to our grill, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make some roasted potatoes as well. So now we're gonna get started on the roasted potatoes. So here I have some sprigs of rosemary, some butter, and of course some garlic. So here I have some potatoes. These are baby Yukon Golds. I love the flavor of baby Yukons. They're mild, they're not so harsh, and they're very easy. So these are parboiled. Parboiled means that they're cooked about halfway. The reason why is because we want to get a nice roast on the potatoes, but we don't want them overcooked. We just want to get a beautiful, like light brown golden color on them. So, but in order to get that, you need to parboil them so that way they're fully cooked through. So just about when your knife, like take a small paring knife, and once you stick it in, it just kind of easily, gently comes off, it's pretty much done. So we're gonna cut them in half, just like so. You see that you can see how parboiled they are. So you can see right there in the middle, it's still somewhat raw, somewhat al dente, but not much. And they're gonna cook very easily in the pan. So set those guys right back in here. Take some garlic cloves and we're gonna smash them. Just again, so that way they release their natural oils. So off to the stove we go. We're gonna start grilling our skirt steak. So now that we have all of our ingredients right here, we're gonna start roasting our potatoes. So here I got a beautiful pan, non-stick, heavy bottom. I'm just gonna add just a half a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and then I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of butter. Because I love the flavor of the butter that it gives the potatoes. I mean, butter is the best with everything. So I'm gonna melt that down. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is one of the most beautiful things to see and to watch. The rosemary, the garlic, just basting like that. It's just heaven. Cool. Sauce is simple. Remember that marinade that we had? So we're just gonna add that into the saute pan and bring that up to heat, and then once that's up to heat, we're gonna add some chicken stock in it just to balance it out, and then of course turn off the heat and then add butter. So now we have beautiful grill marks on that. We're just gonna flip it over, make sure we get those nice, beautiful crisscrosses on them. This is how the potato looks like. Let me show you real quick. See how awesome that looks right there? That beautiful, light, golden brown color. That's kind of what we want. So we're going to keep it going a little bit because we want a little bit more color in there. It's going to be amazing. So look at that sauce. You see how it's coming to a boil right now? That's what we're looking for. Now we're going to add just a hair of chicken stock in there. And again, bring that to a boil and start reducing that. See all that flavor, that golden brown color? So you know that that oil and that butter has all that delicious garlic flavor there. So you can imagine how magical these potatoes taste. Look at that. Cool. So this has been about 2 minutes cooking on this grill on high heat. I'm going to take it off, but look at that. Look at that color. See how juicy and succulent that is? So now we're going to take a plate and just let it rest. Don't touch it. Don't play with it. Don't do anything. As a matter of fact, don't even look at it. I mean, you can smell it. I know you want to look at it, but just leave it alone. The reason why I want to leave it alone is because remember how when you cook steak, all the juices really focus to the center of the steak. Letting it rest is one of the most key things you can do before slicing it so it stays succulent and moist. Let it rest for at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes preferably, and it's pretty much ready to eat. So leave it alone. Potatoes look good. Look at that. So now the moment of truth, we're gonna start plating this dish and we're taking it to the table to eat. And spread it out and just kind of start plating them, just like that. If you want to slice it, you can. I kind of want to leave it whole. It's kind of small and big enough and tender where you can pretty much cut it by yourself on a table. And now some of that sauce, see how I just let it sit for a minute and it just kind of got thicker and it's a lot glazier. That's kind of what you're looking for right there. Perfect, look at that. Just absolutely amazing. Just pour that glaze right over the steak, just like that. Look at that. Bam. There it is, your Asian marinated skirt steak with your pan-roasted Yukon Gold potatoes and a cilantro mint vinaigrette. Bon appetit and enjoy.